Once in a while, you should go through your old artwork and look for patterns. So for those things that keep repeating and you keep seeing, because those things are the things that contribute to your own unique voice and art style. So in today's video, I'm going to go through my old artwork, especially childhood, middle school artwork, and I'm going to discuss about things that I was very passionate about and that I want to emphasize even more in my current art style. Back in middle school, I used to draw a lot because I had a great art teacher and she gave us a lot of master studies to do. And I remember this one in particular, it was from Caravaggio, and she also gave us this value map, which at that time I didn't know what was and the reason why I had to follow that. But every time I was checking with the teacher if everything was right, she used to tell me that I had to darken even more some parts, and I didn't understand why, but now I do because the values, of course. The topic for this drawing, I think, was perspective and drawing your own room. This wasn't my room at that time. I don't know why I drew this library here, but anyway, I think that nowadays illustrators are looking a lot for this kind of perspective, which is a wrong perspective. And me too, I tend to draw wrong sometimes because it's more interesting and appealing. Anyway, this is the way I drew faces, which is interesting to see. This again was a master study, and I don't remember the artist, but basically it was a copy of a famous artist. We were studying the technique with the pencil, and I think it was called pointillism. I don't know the word, but anyway. At that time I was also very passionate about fairies and fantasy characters with long hairs and these gowns and a lot of folds, because I loved to blend colors and to create these volumes, the 3D volumes, and yeah, I was very into that kind of technique. Also, the features are very delicate. Also, I was very into fashion. I loved drawing clothes and female characters with cute dresses, and of course I loved the vintage dresses because they had like nicer shapes. At that time, I think I didn't know why I drew so much dresses, but yeah, I think the reason was the colors and the shapes and the details. Yeah, it's very cute. As you can see, a lot of these drawings are made with color pencils, and this is a medium that I don't use very often nowadays. I also used to draw a lot on a baking paper, and I loved the idea of windows and curtains and the view from the window. I think I also drew a lot mountains. This was my go-to kind of drawing. More fruits, because we were studying a lot this kind of composition, and I remember I worked so much on these peaches to give the volume and the colors right, and yeah, I remember this. Also, I worked a lot on these folds. So I didn't mention the year, but this was 2004, November 2004. And this, I think, is made with microns, if I'm not wrong. I don't know if we had microns, but it was something very similar, some pens, some inking pens. Yeah, this was, I think, a copy again. We used to do the grid in order to copy even better the painting we were having in the books, in the art books. More color pencils. This was for a contest. And yeah, I think it was about peace in the world, something. Yeah, it's a very standard topic. Another master study, again with color pencils and with this kind of baking paper. And I remember I really loved this painting. I loved the delicacy of the colors and the shapes, the bodies. I didn't used to draw poses, like I usually drew very stiff poses, but these were very nice, and I really love this master study. Of course, we had to study how to blend color pencils, and we used to do this kind of exercises. I don't know why, but my art teacher was very into color pencils, and I don't know why I didn't continue using them. I mean, nowadays I usually paint with watercolors and then maybe add on top some color pencil, but I don't do this kind of shading anymore. This is made with acrylics, and I think this is one of the very few pieces with acrylics because I used to hate acrylics. I didn't love the fact that I couldn't manage the colors to look like very blended and smooth, and yeah, I didn't love these textures. And even nowadays I have some troubles using acrylic gouache, and so maybe this is the reason, I don't know. And other fruits and vegetables, it's like I've done an enormous quantity of them. Look at how big this picture is. I mean, nowadays I work on A4 paper, but I think this is an A3 paper. It's so big, and I think I've worked a lot with color pencils. I mean, look at these textures. It's so smooth. Also, the gradients are very smooth. As I was saying, I was very into fashion, and I used to draw every kind of dress, especially these big wedding dresses, because two things were important to me. First of all, hiding those feet, because I hated drawing feet, and sometimes I also I was putting everything on top of the hands because I didn't like how the hands were coming out. So yeah, hands and feet were a big problem for me. Also, I used to have a very fancy signature. I mean, I was very consistent with doing this signature here. And this is from 2006. And here I have also put my logo because I think this dress, these clothes were invented by myself. Yeah, I was very into fashion and drawing clothes. Another of my creations, I think this was inspired by fairies and like those kind of clothes made with leaves and so on. Another vintage dress. I think this is more of a vintage wedding dress. And here we go with my anime manga era. Again, look at the signature. I was very proud of myself. This is a thing that it doesn't happen nowadays. Anyway, I don't remember the names of these characters, but I was watching this series and I really liked the characters and everything about them. So again, I used to draw on very large paper, and I don't know why I'm so afraid of doing this nowadays. It's a shame. I think I didn't love too much coloring because I was more into the drawing, and maybe this is the reason why I don't have a lot of colors on my drawings. I remembered I really love the clothes on this one. I think the shape of the clothes, the fact that it seems they're moving. So yeah, basically this was it. This was the main character. I think the show was called Strawberry, or the character was called Strawberry. I don't remember. She also had this little creature, and she was inspired by strawberries. But we come back to fantasy characters. This has like all the features I loved, the long hair, the dress, and yeah, of course, the background is very simple. Again, fashion. I also have a sort of logo, fashion to be fashion. I don't know what I meant with that. But yeah, here I have more flowing lines, a little less stiff in my opinion. And here is my era of Winnie the Pooh, because I think I've discovered the drawings and I really loved the simple shapes, and it was like a big wow moment for me because I used to draw a lot of details and this was so simple but so effective and appealing, and I think this is the reason why I was into Winnie the Pooh. Also, I really love the texture on the wood, and I think this is something that I still do nowadays. Like the same lines, the openings in here. Yeah, it's something that I currently do, which is like so strange. And I mean, of course, I still do things I really love doing, but I forgot about this. Another Winnie the Pooh, and this is more complex because it also has this frame, and this was a gift for my father, but eventually I kept it. I was so proud of the characters, of how they turn out, and the fact that the poses are a bit like moving, more appealing, and yeah, the whole composition. Of course, it was a copy, but I was so proud at that time. I think I was 14 years old when I was doing these works. And for me, it was a great thing. Like, I know that nowadays young people are very talented. And even at 10 years old, they draw so amazingly. But yeah, I was so proud of what I was doing at that time. This was like more stylized, I think. And I was also inking my line art, which was a new thing for me. Also, I drew hands in here and some shoes. Yeah. I think I was copying it from my journal. I had like a sort of journal with a lot of fairy illustrations, and yeah, this is the reason why I did this fairy. I don't know if I added something to it. I don't remember, honestly, but there are so many details. And again, I loved doing folds. Look at how many folds, and also these folds that are doing a heart shape. Honestly, I don't draw eyes this way nowadays, but the noses are very similar to the ones that I draw nowadays, and also the lips maybe. Yeah. And then years passed by, and here we are in 2017 or 2016, I don't remember very well. But anyway, after like 10 years of no drawing, no art, because I was just studying something else and I was focused on something else, after a lot of years, I decided to go back to art because I really loved it, and I remembered I was passionate about, and I had more time to cultivate this passion. So I explored media, I looked at tutorials, and I started drawing again. And of course, I started with a fashion drawing, again, a wedding dress. But there's so much difference now because I have more skills, I'm more mature, so I see things in a more mature way with adult eyes and knowledge. And yeah, I remember I did this with some Copics and a white pen and watercolors on the girl's face and skin. I was very into fashion also at that time, but slowly I was getting to something else. So this is one of my first watercolors works. It was, I think, from Pinterest. It was a photo, and I finally studied from a photo. I was so proud of this painting because I was seeing a lot of improvement comparing to the old art. YouTube tutorials literally saved my art and helped me so much. I'm so grateful, and this is why I want to do YouTube content for people, to inspire people and to help people the way I was helped to do art. More portraits from that period of time, 2017 again, and here I was exploring also with some texture and shapes, and of course I was following tutorials, and most of these things are also inspired by other artists. This is one of the portraits I was very proud of. As you can see here, there's still long hair, but I've incorporated some nature, and I was really into this negative painting technique. I also did a class on Skillshare. You can find it there, and I talk about this technique in particular, which I was so into. I still love this technique for nature and for this kind of effects, so go check it if you're interested. more portraits, and this was from a photo. So I was very proud that I was studying from photos and applying the things I was studying aside from tutorials, because this way I wasn't copying anyone else's art, and I was starting to understand the importance of not copying but studying from reference, which is a huge difference. Another painting where I drew this sort of character pot with some plants. I don't know, but I was very into these plants and texture with the color pencils, and overall I really loved adding something like fantasy in my art. A Disney inspired work, I did a few of these, and again I was applying the negative painting technique, which I loved. And this last painting, I didn't want to show you a lot of paintings from 2018 and later on, because I want to talk about old art in particular, but I want to end with this painting because this was from Kellogg Loop's Draw This in Your Style challenge. I think it was my first or second challenge I was doing on Instagram, and it brought me so many views, and basically this is how I started my journey on social media, thanks to this painting and thanks to Kellogg Loops, who is a great artist, and I've learned so much about watercolors thanks to him. And yeah, this was my old art. So the things I spot in my old art are basically delicate features on my characters, delicate colors. I also used delicate textures with color pencils. There weren't strong lines or strong shadows. And overall, I think that gentle and delicate are the words that best describe my art. And also, I was very into fashion, and this is a thing that I don't do very often today, because I don't indulge too much in drawing cute clothes. I usually draw standard clothes, so the ones that come to my mind, but I don't do a lot of research, and I want to implement this in my current art style. I want to do more clothes studies from references, and in general explore more on characters' clothes and appearance. And yeah, I don't know if there are other things that I should point out, but if you spotted something in my old art that you want to let me know, it would be very useful, because it's useful to have someone that looks from outside at your own work, and that can criticize you in a good way and give you some tips or opinions on your art. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being here with me in my art community. I'm so happy and I'm so grateful. And I'm waiting for you in the next video next week. Bye!